So you can master cold calling, get warm referrals rolling in, post content daily, and run paid ads, and still get crickets. Here's why. The channel was never the problem. So what we're going to talk about today are four outreach methods, one variable that decides if any of them work. So what are the four outreach methods? We've got cold outreach, warm outreach, social media, and paid ads. And the only thing that they all have in common is the offer. So why is the offer the multiplier? Because if you have a good offer, you can go with any channel and it equals traction. If you have a bad offer on every channel, it's just wasted time and money. So for each method, I'm going to explain specifically how a weak offer can kill traction and actually generating leads from any of those channels. Let's talk about cold outreach, which includes calls, DMs, and cold email, or any other way that you can contact somebody. What is it? It's reaching people with zero prior relationship or trust. Why does your offer matter most here? You have zero trust equity to borrow against. The offer has to do 100% of the convincing and lifting in a 5 to 15-second window. That means no warm up, no context, no goodwill cushion. Just a vague or may offer just gets declined or hung up on instantly. The offer has to answer why should a stranger care right now without any relationship doing the work for you. Cold outreach doesn't fail because of the script. It fails because the offer isn't strong enough to get a stranger's attention. We run direct mail strategies that generate leads for other clients. And the way we generate clients for our direct mail strategy is cold email primarily and a little bit of socials. So, what do we have to do? We pretty much have to drive home what we're doing really quick, fast, short message and say, what's the next step they need to take advantage of this offer? So we say, hey, we're sending out a bunch of postcards. Do you want your business in front of this many homes, which is X homes? And then you tell them, just respond yes, and I'll provide the next step of how to get you through this process to work with us. Next, we've got warm outreach. So, what is warm outreach? It's reaching people who already trust you or you are introduced by someone else who does. So, let's talk about you either have a warm network or within your network of people, you're able to use the credibility of their warm network for another audience. Why your offer matters most here. Trust gets you the conversation. It doesn't get you the sale, but it does get you the conversation. And people still won't say yes to a weak offer just because they like you. A weak offer here has a hidden cost. It burns a relationship capital, so they may think that you're incompetent. People will refer you once. If the offer underdelivers or feels flimsy, they won't refer you again. Warm outreach opens doors. The offer decides whether that relationship compounds or dies after one bad experience. Next, we have social media, which is organic content. What does that mean? Building an audience and converting attention into leads/clients. Why your offer matters most here. Content can absolutely earn attention and engagement, likes, comments, follows. With a mediocre offer behind it, that's the trap. People will engage with you and still not buy. A big audience plus a weak offer equals vanity metrics, not revenue. The offer is what converts a scrolling audience into a paying one. Content just gets you in front of them. Social media will happily grow your audience around a weak offer. It just won't convert them. Engagement is not revenue. So when you're building your things, you want to provide a ton of value. You want to, when you're building your audience, that's the only way to build it is by providing a ton of value. And then once you've earned their trust, that's when you make a small ask and you keep doing this on repeat. Social media will happily grow your audience around a weak offer. It just won't convert them. Engagement is not revenue. And the last one, paid ads. What is it? It's paying to put your message in front of people or a targeted audience at scale. So why does your offer matter here? Paid ads are an amplifier, not a fix. A strong offer scales profitability. A weak offer scales your losses just as fast. Like I said, you're guaranteeing the audience is there. However, you are going to spend more money to do so. With paid spend, every flaw in every offer shows up immediately in the numbers. CAC goes up, ROAS goes down. What is CAC? CAC is customer acquisition cost, and ROAS is return on ad spend. And that will CAC will go up of what it will take to acquire a customer, and your return on ad spend will go down. And then you're paying real money to find that out instead of testing, measuring on the other social or on the other platforms like cold, warm, and social. And you're paying real money to find that out instead of using warm outreach, cold outreach, and social media. This is the highest stakes channel to run with an unproven offer because you feel the failure in your bank account, not just your effort. Ads don't create demand for a bad offer. They just make you pay fast to discover that yours is not working. So when it comes to crafting an offer, the things that we want to keep in mind is how much value can we bring to our audience? When you start to add value, that doesn't mean always exchange more time or add more funds or add a discount to provide more value if you're trying to do that in succession. What you want to do is you want to provide education, lead magnets, anything that you can get to earn their trust. And then from there, that's when you do a small monetary ask, whether that's time, whether that's money, doesn't matter. That's when you're making the ask once you kind of get those. But when you're crafting your offer, it needs to be short and to the point. The only time that it doesn't need to be is when it's warm, they trust you, you already have the credibility to ask them. So it's very important to have your offer in place. And when you have your offer, also don't forget your value proposition. And that's how you're going to be able to make your offer very sweet sounding and to engage interest where you can do the full pitch. So let's talk about the 4 channels. So we have cold outreach, which is using cold DMs, phone calls, cold emails, or any other way that we can try to get in front of a prospect that we have no trust with. And we're providing our value proposition where we're basically telling the business owner in a 1 sentence line who we are, what we're known for, and how we help them. With warm outreach, that means that you don't have to go through the trust verification. And what does that mean? That means you're probably going to get to an appointment faster. However, your credibility is on the line if you're not able to fulfill or the offer isn't good. However, they still have your trust. So make sure that they're the right audience. With social media, you can create a lot of content. However, this is a volume piece as well, where you're going to have to test and measure and use a lot of time for editing, creating shorts, posting on multiple social media platforms, testing different value adds, building an audience. That's the hard part, is building the audience. And from there, that's when you can start to make small monetary asks. And then with paid ads is once you figure out your offer that can work, that's when you can start to scale. That's when you can start to put that offer out to multiple people you'll pay, and then you'll be able to do a lot more volume in terms of reaching the right people and converting more because you're going to have a converting offer at that point. If you are interested in running any of these 4, drop in the comments on what you're running in your current business or which one you should be running. And I can drop a form of outreach that would best serve in the industry that you're in to help you grow your business from there. Cool. So I actually put together some offers that might get your wheels spinning in terms of how you think about if you're going to do it. So I did one for a print company, and then I also did one for an HVAC company. This is just how you should start thinking and adding value without ruining your margins, and especially when you have a huge package that you can take to lose a little bit of margin on by throwing in these little extra things. So let's move on to the first one. So here's for the print company. The offer is shaped around a 10,000 piece solo mailer. Now, we all know that when you're doing print, you're kind of looking for a 30 to 50% margin. So that's just the typical standard of what you should look for. So let's say we have the opportunity to throw in, if we're doing a 10,000 piece mailer, we're going to charge thousands of dollars, and then we can throw in a $30 set of business cards. And if you're white labeling this or using a printer to arbitrage, yeah, you can roughly get these done for anywhere from 20 to 30 bucks. It's very affordable for 500 business cards. So 20 to 40 bucks, 20 to 30, it's right around that range. 20 yard signs, there are several sites out there that you can go to and get this as well. Just throw it in for more value where you only pay a few bucks a sign. Now, typically you can find vendors that do 10, but there are some vendors that will do about 2 to 3 bucks a sign. And you throw in door hangers. So while you're using your big marginal piece for 10,000 piece solo mailers, now you're bundling these free add-ons that they're going to get. So basically, they're thinking they're paying for these solo mailers. Then like, but dude, look what I get for free. Like that's an offer. That's where we're creating more value packed inside of why they would pay a premium. Hopefully that makes sense. And let's move on to the HVAC. So if we're doing a new AC install, So here's where we can start to add on little add-ons. So we've got a smart thermostat that we're going to install. We're going to do a free duct cleaning, a UV air purifier that we're going to throw in as well, and a 1-year filter subscription. So we'll provide filters, come through and install them. But if we're doing a full central AC system install, that's a very high marginal product and service that we're going to be able to charge a premium because we're throwing in these little add-ons that seem like they're sweetening the pot for the consumer. So when you start to think about crafting your offer, think of what you can add on that doesn't take a lot more extra time, but will make the price that you charge and the cost seem because we need the cost to outweigh the value, because the only time that somebody buys is when they see more value than what you're charging. So how do we make an offer do the same? How do we make it to where it's just so silly that they don't buy today if they need this product, especially if they've got no air? So if we put together, hey, we'll do a free install with a free AC tune up, who cares about that? But if they see this company offer between two, they're going to go with the one offering the smart thermostat, the duct cleaning, the UV air purifier, the 1-year subscription of filters. So think of ways that you can shape your offer and start to make things seem more appetizing when you're reaching out to customers cold, social media, warm, paid ads, it doesn't matter. This is what it's like to craft a valuable offer. Hopefully you found value in this. My name is Dalton, Big Sky Automation. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed.